Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're checking out, are we all pronouncing Marylebone wrong?
There's a few words in our language that we don't understand. A few videos ago I looked into Piccadilly, but a more niche category is words that we can't agree on how to pronounce. Recently Chris Spargo did a poll on scone versus scone, and it was literally split 50-50.
Scone?
One with a really interesting history is Marylebone.
Marylebone.
Or Marylebone.
Marylebone.
Or Marylebone.
Marylebone?
Is an area famous for Baker Street.
Y'all be sure to go to Luke O'Sullivan and like and subscribe. I reacted to that Piccadilly one and it was kind of fascinating. It refers to those big frilly things that they used to wear back in the day. It was a big fashion statement. Looks kind of right now. Anyway, Marylebone.
Is Marylebone.
Marylebone.
Or Marylebone. Or Marylebone. Is an area famous for Baker Street, Sherlock Holmes, the station, Harley Street, a whole load of blue plaques, and the fact that none of us can actually agree on how to pronounce its name.
Show me on a London. Marylebone. There it is. Okay. Let me just zoom out here so I gotta... Where are we here? Oh, okay. Very close to the British Museum. Okay. South of Regent's Park. What do we got going in Marylebone? The Seashell. Massa. Governor's Casino. The Victoria. Baker Street, he said. That's Sherlock Holmes's home. Portman Square Garden. It's right by the park, so it's probably a nice area. You know? Probably expensive. Oh, show me hotels. How much are the hotels there? 187, 121, 138. Not bad. Let's read about Marylebone. This has some pronunciations. Marylebone, Marylebone, Marylebone is an area in London, England, and is located in the city of Westminster. It is in central London and part of the West End. Oxford Street forms its southern boundary. The parish is likely to have been in place since at least the 12th century and will have used the boundaries of the pre-existing manors. Wow. Toponymy. The name Marylebone... Oh, I don't want to read ahead. I don't want to read ahead of the video. Okay. Tell me about it, Luke.
And the fact that none of us can actually agree on how to pronounce its name. The story behind this really makes you question not just how we pronounce things today, but how it might affect how we say things in the future. So in a nutshell, today we're going to look at where does the word Marylebone actually come from? Why is there a Marylebone in Dublin? And I guess we'll look at the actual proper pronunciation along the way.
Did he say pronunciation?
Proper pronunciation.
Pronunciation? Is he doing that on purpose? Is that a joke?
Proper pronunciation along the way. Well, to get to the bottom of this surprisingly international mystery, we need to start by looking at what lay in the land before all of this.
Yeah.
Well, not much. Like a lot of what we would now consider central London, it was mainly open farmland, importantly with a stream called the Tyburn, which loosely translated to boundary stream. On this river was a village named after the river, around about here, where Marble Arch is today.
Really?
It was known...
Wait, there was a village there? When, I wonder? Like in Roman times? Hang on. River Tyburn. What happened to the river? Was a stream in London. Its main successor sewers emulate its main courses, but it resembled the coin in the countryside. It's not there anymore, I guess. They fill it up. The King's Scholars Pond Sewer was constructed between 1848 and 1856 when the Metropolitan Line was constructed in the early 1860s. It used cut and cover techniques to excavate the tunnels for the Underground Railway. At Baker Street Station, the railway passed beneath the King's Scholars Pond Sewer. Let's see, maybe he'll tell us. What happened to that river? Or stream, I guess it was.
It was known for executions because it had a three-sided gallows which had the capacity to execute up to 24 people at a time. The town already had a church, been around 1400.
Wow. That's a lot of killing. I want to read this plaque here. What's it say? City of Westminster 105. Catholic martyrs lost their lives at the Tyburn gallows near this site, 1535 to 1681. Wow. The Tyburn gallows. Let's look that up. Tyburn took its name from the Tyburn Brook, a tributary of the river Westbourne, blah, 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 blah. Teoborn means boundary stream. Oh, that's what he was saying. Like the name Tyburn literally means boundary stream. The junction of the site was the famous Tyburn gallows, known colloquially as the Tyburn tree, now occupied by a marble arch. For many centuries, the name Tyburn was synonymous with capital punishment. It was the principal place for execution for London and Middlesex criminals and convicted traitors, including many religious martyrs. In the 18th century, it was also known as God's Tribunal. Hangings at Tyburn often included a sometimes raucous procession of the condemned from Newgate Gaol in the city. At the end of the 18th century, the hangings were moved to Newgate. Wow. Is it crazy that people used to just get excited about going to see people be hung? That's so morbid. The Domesday Survey records it having 8 households, the population around 40. The Roman road junction at Tyburn became associated with the place of criminal execution. The first recorded execution took place at a site next to the stream in 1196. Okay, so we're talking about 1200s probably. In 1537, Henry VIII used Tyburn to execute the ringleaders of the Pilgrimage of Grace, including Sir Nicholas Tempest, one of the northern leaders of the pilgrimage and the king's own bow-bearer of the Forest of Bowland. Wow. Okay, so that's 1500. So that's like 300 years of just killing in that one spot. Oh, and now they're talking 1750s. 1780s. Tyburn was commonly invoked in euphemisms for capital punishment. For instance, to take a ride to Tyburn or simply go west was to go to one's hanging. Lord of the Manor of Tyburn was the public hangman. Dancing the Tyburn jig was the act of being hanged. Wow. Convicts would be transported to the site in an open ox cart from Newgate Prison. Wow. Dark, Luke.
To execute up to 24 people at a time.
Jeez.
The town already had a church, but in around 1400 they decided it was too close to the gallows and all the executions and
yeah.
So they decided to build a new church a bit further north, directly on the Tyburn, which they called St. Mary by the Burn. Except back then, it would have been pronounced Mary by the Burn and not Mary.
Mary by the Burn. I see where we're getting to the name now. Marylebone. Marylebone. That's where it was, right there where the arch was. Or is. Crazy.
From there, the town became known by this name. And if you're thinking, that's a really long name for a town, you'd be thinking along the same lines as them. Because by Tudor times, the name had been shortened to St. Marylebone or just Marylebone.
Okay. Is that church still there, I wonder? Show me on a map. Oh, yeah. When was this built? What's its story? It's so hard to tell when these buildings were built because there's no single St. Mary's Church London, as many churches share this name, each with its own history. For example, St. Marylebone is known for its curfew bell mentioned in 1469. St. Mary on... Okay, let's move on from that.
To St. Marylebone or just Marylebone. And if the name stayed as Marylebone, I don't think we'd be having the same debates about how to pronounce it.
True.
So where did the "l" come from?
That means the in French.
Let's go back to the Middle Ages. A bunch of Vikings settled in northern France, ditched their old language, learned French, and became the Normans.
Right.
Then, in 1066, their leader, William the Conqueror, sailed over to England and, well, conquered.
Right.
Suddenly, French became the cool, posh language. So much so that people started sprinkling French into everyday English. So meat on your table went from cow to beef. A large house became a mansion, and someone stealing from you became a robbery.
Wait. Beef is French. Okay. I guess I always thought beef was ranchers wanting to sell cow meat, but make it sound more appetizing by calling it beef. But I guess it comes from the French word for beef.
Became
Beef.
a mansion, and someone stealing from you became a robbery. When it came to naming things in London, Marylebone became Marylebone, which is just marry the burn, but with a little bit of French sprinkled in. This French spelling actually ended up creating a myth where people just assumed that Marylebone meant Marylebone, which meant Mary the Good in French.
Oh.
Remember that. That's important.
But burn came from Tyburn, right? So it was Mary the river? Or the barrier? Tyburn comes from stream bear. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Remember that. That's important. From there, the spellings bounced around a little bit between Marylebone and Marybone. And in 1800, they finally settled on Marylebone. The church got rebuilt a few times over the years, and in 1817, we got the one that we have today.
Okay,
St. Marylebone
1817.
Parish Church.
Okay.
A weird modernisation of St. Mary on the Burn. The actual River Tyburn gradually got covered up and moved underground into sewers. By the early 19th century, it had completely disappeared. But Marylebone Lane still follows its route, a curvy street amongst the grid.
Oh, a map, y'all. Let's find this curvy street on our map. Where's that curvy street? Where's that curvy street? There it is. Okay. We found it. Oh, Marylebone Lane. That makes sense. So this is where the stream went. Okay. Oh, you could still... Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay.
Oh, wait, I almost forgot. Why is there a Marylebone in Dublin? Well, it starts with another invasion. In 1690, England's new king, William, won a big battle in Ireland, taking control.
William again.
This isn't a video about that, but it meant that people from England could come over to Ireland and set up shop. On this specific street here, now next to the Guinness factory, wool weavers moved in. And like many places in Dublin, they decided to name their street after somewhere in London. But as we've established, throughout history there's been a few different ways of saying Marylebone, and one of these ways was Marrowbone. They didn't just take the pronunciation, but they spelled it phonetically, and to this day, the street is known as Marrowbone Lane.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Show me on a map. Makes me think of bone marrow, of course. Dublin. Marrowbone. There it is. Marrowbone Lane. Yep. I can confirm he's not lying.
But it doesn't end there, because with Ireland having its own language, they needed an Irish name for the lane. But Londoners hadn't just brought with them the wrong pronunciation and wrong spelling of the name, they also brought with them the myth from earlier about Marylebone, meaning Mary the Good. So the official Irish name for this lane translates to Lane of Mary the Good.
Oh.
There's also a Pimlico. So how would you pronounce
Pimlico.
this?
Oh, well, that's an eternal question, isn't it? I say Marylebone.
Marylebone. Marylebone?
Marylebone?
So,
Marylebone?
are we all
Marylebone?
pronouncing it wrong? Well, it depends. If you ask Google, it says
Marylebone.
then inside the station you get a different pronunciation depending on which line you get.
Pronunciation.
So on the Chiltern line you get Marylebone, and on the Bakerloo line you get Marylebone. So that doesn't help settle anything.
Oh.
The name started as St. Mary by the Burn, so if you wanted to pronounce it as similar to that as possible but with today's French spelling, you'd probably say Marylebone. Of the ways that we say today, the closest living relative is probably Marylebone. But this name has been debated over centuries. There's never been one fixed way to say it. Humans love to disagree. Our opinions make us who we are, and historically people love to debate this word. Language isn't fixed, it evolves, and every time you open your mouth, you are part of that process. So the way that you choose to say Marylebone could help shape the way people say Marylebone in the future.
Marylebone. 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 I enjoy those moments at the end of his videos. A lot of people just cut him right off like me. But there's a little moment in life there. Wow, Marylebone. It's so crazy how when we look back at history and the way a city is built and the names of things, I guess we kind of automatically assume that it's all planned out, that at the time when it was created, we think they did the most optimal thing. It's like perfectly planned, but really they're just kind of doing what they can with what they have at the time, right? So like this Tyburn becomes Marylebone. Marylebone. Did we learn nothing? Marylebone. Yo, be sure to go to Luke O'Sullivan and like and subscribe. 24 hangings at once. What kind of sound would that make? Well, y'all, I'd like to thank my patrons. I'd like to thank my Buy Me a Coffee folks. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for watching this with me, and I'll see y'all next time. Later. Marylebone.